Hi friend, today I want to dive into something I've been using a lot lately, the reMarkable Paper Pro. I've had this thing for over 6 months now, and I'm here to give you my kind of honest take of what's great, what's not so great, and even some of the frustrating stuff. Now, I will be straight with you, when the Paper Pro first came out, I wasn't entirely sold on the idea. The whole distraction-free device concept almost felt limiting. I even made some comparison videos with books devices, which I will link in the description below, where I felt like the books offered just more versatility. I was focused on using it for research, emails, social media, the stuff that I was basically doing all the time. And the books seemed like a more powerful and capable tablet. But here's the thing, even with all the features of the books, I kept gravitating back to the Paper Pro. Why? I guess it's the quiet, the pure distraction-free experience that I was so resisting. It's hard to really put a price on that. As an example, I've implemented a morning journaling routine, which I try to keep up daily, and I found the best tool for that is either a piece of paper or the reMarkable Paper Pro. With no phone or tablet around, just the Paper Pro, which helps stop me from checking social media all the time. In those moments, it's just really you and your thoughts, without the endless pings and notifications. And that simplicity of reMarkable is incredibly powerful. And speaking of focus and distraction free, I recently came across a really interesting blog post from reMarkable titled "Why Deep Thoughts Matter: Defending Focus in a Distracted World." The article dives into how your ability to focus is constantly under attack by notifications, endless scrolling, and digital noise. The post argues that deep thinking is becoming a lost art, and honestly, I couldn't agree more. And that's exactly why I've come to appreciate the reMarkable so much in the last few months. It's not just about having fewer distractions, it's about creating an environment where you can actually think, reflect, and engage with your ideas without the constant pull of social media or emails. I'll link the blog post in the description if you want to check it out. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about size. The 11.8-inch display, I'm absolutely in love with this. Seriously, it was one of the main reasons I wanted to try the Paper Pro, and it has not disappointed. Coming from smaller e-readers like the Kindle, Kobo Libra Color, or even the Books Air 4C, the extra screen real estate makes a massive difference. I read a ton of books, and having that larger display really improves the reading experience, especially with books that have images or diagrams. And don't get me wrong, the Kindle is great, but there are times I just need something more capable and more expansive. Before we jump to the next section, I just want to ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this video. Appreciate your support. Also, speaking of the user experience, the auto rotation feature, which was released on the 3.18 version, is amazing, and I think reading in landscape orientation became more comfortable. What's also amazing is that I can easily toss the Paper Pro in my backpack, and it's the perfect size for working on the go. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather the flicker on the screen. If you've watched my earlier comparison videos, you know I mentioned some flickering when refreshing the page. And honestly, it still bothers me a little bit, especially the unevenness of the flicker. I think I notice it even more because I constantly compare it to other devices with different display technologies. But here's the honest truth, it's not a deal breaker. If you're concerned about it, I wouldn't let it stop you from considering the Paper Pro. After a while, your brain kind of just tunes it out and becomes part of the experience. Now, about the color. The addition of color to the Paper Pro is fantastic. The ability to color code my notes, highlight text in different colors, and just generally play around with the visual aspects of the device has been great. As a visual learner myself, it helps me stay organized and makes things like sketching, even though I'm not great at it, a lot more fun. It just brings the whole experience to life. And if you read magazines, comics, or any colorful documents, it really does add another dimension to your reading experience. One issue that's really started to get on my nerves, and I need to mention it, is the touch responsiveness. Sometimes the screen just doesn't register swipes when I'm flipping through a book, or even basic touches when navigating the interface. And it's not just an occasional glitch, it kind of happens consistently enough to be frustrating. I've noticed that being more gentle with my swipes helps, but even then, there are times when it takes me 5 tries before it finally reacts. And at this point, this is probably my biggest gripe with the Paper Pro. When it comes to pens, I'm really happy with both standard and premium markers quality. They really are on the next level compared to books, Kobo or any other devices. Pity we cannot purchase some alternative markers like Lamy or Staedtler markers, as I think it would improve the overall experience even more. But hey, I ain't even complaining, this marker is pretty legit. Now about the Marker Plus with the built-in eraser, is it worth the extra $50 or 50 euros? Honestly, I don't think so. The standard marker is fantastic, and I think it's more than enough for daily use. The writing experience on the Paper Pro is slightly slipperier. More slippery? Slipperier? It's more slippery than on the reMarkable 2 or Booksnote Max due to the front being textured glass, but I actually prefer it that way. It feels very responsive and in my opinion quite natural. In terms of build quality, the Paper Pro is definitely a bit thicker and heavier than some other e-readers. At first I was worried that weight would be a problem while reading for longer periods, but honestly, it hasn't bothered me that much. I also like the fact that it feels very sturdy and well built. If I'm being honest, I think it's the best built out of all the devices I've reviewed so far. And the little rubber feet on the back, really thoughtful design. It grips the table perfectly, so it doesn't slide around while I'm writing or reading. In terms of battery life, I think it's reasonable. I'm consistently getting around 3 to 4 days of use on a single charge. The Paper Pro comes with a pretty large 5030 mAh battery. When I'm just reading, I see about 4% battery drain per hour, while writing consumes way more power, around 12% per hour. In my comparison videos, the battery life in terms of writing and reading is almost identical to Booksnote Max, and I'm quite okay with how well the battery holds on Paper Pro. Now, for my biggest disappointment with the Paper Pro. It's the backlight. I was really hoping this would be a game changer for me, but it just hasn't been. I was envisioning using it in different lighting conditions, like dark coffee shops, dimly lit rooms, reading in bed, but the backlight settings are just not refined enough. There are 5 steps, but really only 2 are usable, either completely off or max out the brightness. Anything in between is pretty much useless. Also, the lack of warmth light is a big drawback in my opinion. It works okay for reading in bed at night, but it's a very binary experience, good or bad with no in between. I've been pretty spoiled with my Kindles, which have incredibly customizable light settings and warmth adjustments. If you have Paper Pro, let me know your thoughts on the backlight in the comments below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. When it comes to annotating on PDFs and ePubs, underlining and highlighting with color is a lot of fun. It's not something that I necessarily needed, but as someone who's more of a visual learner, being able to add color to my annotations has honestly been incredibly helpful. It just makes it easier to organize my thoughts and retain information. So after 6 months, what's my verdict on the reMarkable Paper Pro? Let's be honest, despite its flaws, the flickering, the less than stellar backlight, the touch responsiveness, I've really come to appreciate its benefits. The distraction-free environment, the large display and the fantastic writing experience make it honestly a very valuable tool to me. And I think the Paper Pro is honestly best suited for someone who are looking for a dedicated writing and reading device without any distractions. So if you're easily distracted by notifications and want a quiet space for focused work, this may be a great option. But if you're looking for a true tablet replacement for social media, emails and other apps, then this is not great and I think books would be a much better fit for you. But now I'd love to hear from you. Have you had a similar experience with Paper Pro? Are you considering getting one? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to support my work, you can like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. You can also become a YouTube channel member like the amazing people right here, and I genuinely appreciate your support. But that's not all. If you're thinking about getting a reMarkable Paper Pro and would love to learn about its features, you can check out this video here. And if you'd like to see it being compared against Booksnote Max, I think this video has you covered. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!